And let's not forget, right, that wave of revolution, that's not an unfounded fear, right? Just on the other side of Europe, in the Soviet Union, we saw the Russian Empire fall to the Bolshevik Party, who instituted a communist dictatorship, right? We see people really freaking out about whether or not the communists are planning that here. Like, let's just ask Mr. Puppy here if that fear is valid. Mr. Puppy, is it a valid fear that Americans have that communists might want to take over here in America and create a dictatorship? Why, yes, that's very true. Oh, thank you for those kisses, little puppy. Oh, no problem, because it's pretty true that those people were really afraid that those strikes in 1919, that those were going to lead to a communist revolution here in America. What do we call that, little puppy? Oh, I'm glad you asked me that question. We call that the Red Scare. In fact, I want to be more specific. Little Dog didn't tell you that what this is actually called is the first Red Scare. It's the first Red Scare because what we're actually seeing here is, for the first time, a large group of Americans angry or afraid of one small section of the population, in this case, communists. And it's the first Red Scare. There's going to be another one later on. But this first Red Scare kind of comes as the stew of this fear kind of bubbles over, right? We had all these general strikes, and now we have these race riots. And then we have here in America a population of people who are angry at the government. We've got fear over communists. I'll give you an example. In 1919, 1920, 30 bombs were sent across the country, 30 of them, and they exploded at all kinds of places, even at the home of the Attorney General, the chief lawyer of the land, the guy in charge of enforcing the law. It happened all over the place. A bombing outside of Wall Street even happened in New York City. That's actually this picture that you can see right here. This is actually Wall Street, right outside the famous Wall Street building where a bomb went off. So terrorism here on American soil isn't new, and people were really upset about this. In fact, the FBI at the time, called the General Intelligence Division, actually said, you know what, the people who are doing this, they're probably Russians. They weren't. They were actually anarchists. They just wanted to destroy the government. But people were so afraid of communist revolution that the General Intelligence Division said that they were probably Russian. So Americans actually endorsed our FBI raiding thousands and thousands of people's homes and businesses and clubs. You can see a chart here, 1,000 arrested in New England. Reds, right? Suspected Reds now in custody. It says right over here, going to Deer Island for detention. That was an island where they were held in prison before they were sent off back to Russia, deported. So you're going to see our Attorney General Palmer actually begin A. Mitchell Palmer actually begin to send and round up people, often illegally, ignoring search warrants, not a person's right to a lawyer, and just sending them packing, sending them right back home to Russia, as a kind of a way of looking at this fear, because Americans were so worried about it. We actually ended up deporting something like nearly 600 people that we just suspected of being Russian. There was no guilt, no way we actually knew about it. There was no evidence at all that we could find, but we deported them anyway because that fear of revolution was driving us to have this Red Scare. And it was a real palpable fear that people had, that our economy was going to fall apart, our country was going to fall apart, anarchy would win. You can see here the torches of anarchy. It would destroy our country, and that we would become communists like this little commie right here. So we had to fight back against that.